Composting is a great way to make use of all the landscape waste that comes from grass clippings and tree leaves. It's also a good way to put to use kitchen scraps and other household waste that you may have. Composting is really not a very difficult process, and there's lots of ways to put together a structure for your compost pile. We're going to show you some different types of common compost piles and how to create a structure and get you started on composting in your own landscape. A couple important things to keep in mind when you're creating your compost pile is that you want to have a structure that has a minimum size of about 3 feet by 3 feet by 3 feet and a maximum size of about 5 by 5 by 5. Now the reason for this, if you make a pile that's smaller than 3 cubed, you're going to find that that material will not get hot enough for your compost to proceed as quickly as you might like. But if you go over 5.5 feet by 5 by 5, you have trouble getting oxygen into the center of the pile, and that could lead to anaerobic decomposition, which results in methane gas and bad smells, which nobody wants in their landscape. Now you can either create a structure for your compost, and there's lots of different structures. You can make it a simple one out of concrete block. You can build many different types of wooden structures, and there's great plans that are available on the web to help you build your compost structure. Or you can build a freestanding compost pile. Neither one really does better than the other as long as you follow those size restrictions. You also need to keep in mind for your compost pile that you need a good combination of green materials, which are high in nitrogen, and brown materials, which are high in carbon. Now in the summertime, quite often we have a lot of grass clippings that are available for use in the compost pile, which would be a high nitrogen or a green material. Something like tree leaves that come off the trees in the fall will qualify very well as a high carbon material. Now in the middle of the summer, we sometimes have trouble coming up with the carbon material. So today, for our high carbon material, we're going to be using shredded paper, and that works just as well as tree leaves. Don't need to worry about inks that are used in printing. Most of those are soy-based inks now, so we're not going to have any lead or any other heavy metals in our compost pile. The final thing to keep in mind when you're putting your compost pile together is to get a good ratio between the green materials and the brown. We want to hit ideally about a ratio of 1 part nitrogen materials to 30 parts carbon, so about a 1:30 ratio. One easy way to reach that ideal ratio using grass clippings and our shredded paper is to start with a layer of shredded paper that's about 4 to 6 inches deep. Then on top of that, we're going to put a layer of grass clippings that are about 3 inches deep. On top of that, we're going to add 1 inch of compost, finished compost, or you could also use topsoil. And the compost or the topsoil is going to add all the bacteria and fungi that you need to create that good decomposition environment within your compost pile. Then we're going to wet the compost, we're going to mix it all together, and then if we have more materials, we can just start with another layer of 4 to 6 inches of shredded paper and another layer of grass clippings, and repeat that until we reach our ideal size of 3 by 3 by 3 or 5 by 5 by 5. You can monitor the temperature in your compost pile using a composting thermometer. Ideally, we want the temperature to be up around 150 degrees. The rate at which your compost decomposes is dependent on how often you turn the pile. So when the temperature starts to drop, that's an indication that it's time to turn the pile again. Add water as needed if the compost is getting dry whenever you turn the pile. You'll know that your compost is finished when it starts to look just like black dirt or nice black topsoil. And then it's ready to use in your landscape and your vegetable garden.